It was very scary to have to think that was going to happen to us.
Tonight, KARE 11 investigates a rental scam that has left multiple families out thousands of dollars and a place to live.
And as Lauren Lemanchek reports, so far nothing has been done to stop the man at the center of it.
The house on East Larpenteur in St. Paul has 6 bedrooms, 3 baths, central air, and laundry.
We really liked it.
For Kristen and her kids, it checked all the boxes.
The kitchen was nice.
Even more important, it was wheelchair accessible for Kristen's best friend, Michelle, who also lives with the family. They met with Keith, the property manager, and signed a lease on January 25th for an April 1st move-in.
How much did you have to pay in a deposit just to hold it?
$5,300.
And then Keith started asking for even more money.
A couple days later, he asked, "Oh, when am I going to get the first month's rent?"
But after they paid another $2,550 and packed their boxes, a phone call.
We have to cancel the lease with you guys.
Just 2 weeks before their move-in date, the landlord claimed his current tenants sued to stay.
It was court ordered. We did not expect that to happen.
KARE 11 found no record of a court order like that. But the news was devastating.
We thought we were going to be homeless. It was very scary to have to think that was going to happen to us.
Kristen was heartbroken. Michelle, suspicious.
Then I did a lot of research and I found out more about Keith.
Turns out Keith's actual name was Kai Kao, and he had a criminal record. And they found one more thing. They weren't the only tenants who'd signed a lease on Larpenteur.
My sister's friend found him on Zillow.
Saeed Mohammed's sister Ayan signed a lease there on February 26th, a month after Kristen and Michelle had already signed their lease.
She went along and paid the deposit real quick and signed the lease.
$4,900, move-in date March 1st, just days away.
When your sister showed up planning to move in, what happened?
She went there, and there's another family that was living there.
The other family who's living in the house when your sister shows up says other families have come saying they also have leases?
Yep. They said families have come before you guys. What's going on? They're asking me, what's going on? Why are you guys, this is a daily thing now?
So that's at least 3 families who each paid this man to live here.
We expected the lease to start around March 1st.
Make that 4. Marwan Ali and his family signed a lease back in December and paid Kao $5,000.
I want you to take a look at that.
We showed him the lease signed by Kristen and Michelle a month later.
Oh, wow.
He also learned about the lease Ayan and Saeed had.
I don't understand why he's trying to have multiple families moving at the same time and he's collecting all this money, and I just want to know what he's doing with this money.
And we showed them Kai Kao's criminal record.
Theft by swindle, fraud, check forgery.
Multiple felonies dating back 2 decades. Kao even served prison time for stealing more than $500,000 from a former employer. So what about their money? More than $20,000 in all.
Have you been able to get any of your money back?
No, not a single dollar.
Not even a dollar.
No.
Instead, texting excuses. He was out of town, had a death in the family, broke his leg.
All of the renters we spoke with have now filed civil lawsuits against Kao in Ramsey County Court, but the first hearing date isn't until next month.
They've also reported him to local law enforcement and to Zillow, the rental app where many found the Larpenteur listing. But so far, no money and no justice. We left messages for Kao.
We're working on a story with a number of people who tell us that they gave you money and signed leases on the 200 Larpenteur property.
Texted and emailed. He eventually replied to our email, declining an interview, claiming to be out of town. But just look, we spotted him very much in town. And the next day, when we saw him again and tried to talk to him,
"Excuse me, Mr. Kao? Mr. Kao?"
he closed the garage door. And minutes later,
"Mr. Kao?"
he wouldn't come to the door. In an email he wrote, "We have every intention of paying back their deposits and are working on gathering funds as we speak." It hasn't happened yet.
He's going to keep doing this until he gets caught. One of these days.
Kristen and Michelle are still unpacking the consequences. With just 2 weeks and little money, they had to jump on the first rental they could find.
And we ended up here. It's not handicap accessible, but it's a roof. claustrophobic.
A house Michelle can't navigate or get in and out of.
It means I sleep right here in the living room.
Their savings gone.
How do you think someone does that to people?
Greed. Very greedy.
I reached out to St. Paul Police. They tell me they have received reports and are investigating. And what frustrates these tenants even more, after they were scammed, they had friends call Kai Cow about the same listing, and he was still advertising it. For KARE 11 Investigates, I'm Lauren Lemanchek.